You think Dan's waiting? I don't know.
Dan might be. It may be. You know what? It may be me waiting.
Well, you could send the link to Dan if you feel like it, but
Well, then if my cousin got on, it'd really be.
it'd be four of us.
Yeah, it'd be a little much. Anyway, I think we're on, Ellis.
Okay, we are on. Yeah, I was just now checking my email. That's how good a show host I am. All right.
Way
Well,
to go,
I've got my black wing. I'm ready for action.
dude. I got a couple things I want to talk about before I start
Okay.
calling. Uh,
Palomino black wing. All
yeah,
right, go ahead.
not the original, the Palomino.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up this in the mail the other day.
Let's see it. Whoa! I tell you what, Gil Kane. You want the guy that learned his anatomy
Oh
in the
yeah,
early stage and was, I guess he was semi-mentored by the king of them all, old Cubert, a little bit to some extent. He had
yeah.
some of his draftsmanship comes from Cubert, I think.
Well,
But he's his own guy though, really.
yeah, and no, definitely.
One
But
of the kings.
and he's a guy
Great
that
layouts.
studied
Yeah.
his anatomy,
Yeah.
worked on his anatomy for his entire career.
Oh yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
read,
Yeah. I asked him a question at that famous seminar where he, Harvey Kurtzman, and Bern Hogarth were going around the country making money with seminars, and I went all the way down to Dallas to take it. And I asked him. I said, "Do you ever get worried that you're just going to not really make cumulative gains, that you'll just forget everything?" And he just said, "Yeah, everybody worries about that." It's like you just don't ever get so good that you feel
yeah.
like you can stop and still
Oh,
retain everything.
I'm always suspicious when I see an artist that is like, I've got it all figured out,
Yeah.
and I mean, not that they have to say, oh, I'm constantly working or show you their work, but just you can tell there are people that they got their niche and that's where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I don't want to be like that. And it's funny, we were talking about my cousin, and in the email, in an email, him and I talked about this thing that you and I talked about a few weeks ago about being an artist and what is, and he said something. He's like, part of being an artist is never being happy with what you're doing, always kind of pushing
Yeah.
yourself a little bit. But anyway, okay, so this book, I used to see this everywhere at comic
How
shops.
much was it to you?
Well, so let me.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, let me
It's a
go
little
ahead.
bit
I'm
of a
sorry.
story. So
Okay,
I
go
see
ahead.
this everywhere, and it was printed, I think, in 2000. But I would see it, and I never got it because cover prices. Yeah, 2001. Cover price is $30, which in
Uh-huh.
2001 was a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
So.
Was he alive? And was he alive in 2001?
Yes, I
Okay.
believe so.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
believe so. So I've seen this around. Also, it has a very boring cover for a comic book. We're a book about,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
it's just
poor
very,
read. Yeah.
yeah, odd colors. So, but I'd see it, I pick it up, flip through it, but it never really did anything for me. Never thought it was worth $30. But in the meantime, over the years, I've been buying a lot of these. Like I'm looking, these two Morrow's books. I got John Severin, I got Herb Trimpe, I got Dave Cockrum, Sal Buscema.
Mm-hmm.
These not the artists that I really liked as a kid, but kind of other artists that are really good.
That your own appreciation has grown for. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I thought, there used to be a Gil Kane book. And so I looked online, and dude, on Amazon, this was going for like $60.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, oh man, it's out of print. 2001, it's out of print, this kind of stuff. And just the other day, I was looking, and I was just searching for it online. I hate to admit this, I was looking to see if somebody had a PDF I could look at.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure.
And I found Hermes Press still sells it. It's $29. I went there. I got a discount. They had a discount code. I got a discount code. They charged me like $7 for shipping. It It was like $33 altogether.
Wow.
I had it within a week, man.
Well, that's a little ad for that because that might be news to somebody that eventually tunes
Yeah,
into this.
if you're a Gil Kane fan, and this is not this is an overview of his career.
Uh-huh.
Lots of color.
Not a whole lot of sequential pages in a row of storytelling. Just a lot of a lot of great art.
Yeah, a lot of his layouts. I wouldn't call this a very, the two Morrow's books tend to have a lot of full-size illustration. This is a little more academic than that, but it's still cool. I'm glad I got it. It's thick. It's about 200 pages.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, you can tell just looking at it. But it shows working from a script too. Is it one of his scripts or is it just a working script?
I don't know. I didn't. I don't. I have not.
I don't know how much he dabbled at writing.
Well, he wrote.
Did he wrote Savage? Did he write Savage?
He wrote Savage. He wrote.
That was pretty ambitious. That's pretty much his
Black
attempt to
Mark.
film. Yeah.
Somewhere around here, I picked up the other day the complete Black Mark. It's got all that, and then Starhawks. He wrote with. Ron Goulart. Well, Ron Goulart wrote that. Anyway, so I picked that up, and I've been looking at that in addition to reading Shadow Pulps.
How's that going? You decided to start with that monumental task. Are you digging it?
I'll be honest with you. I got to get used to the cadence of the, there's a writing, and I've got it. Man, I tell you, you mentioned that your concentration, you don't have the concentration you used to, or something like that.
Well, I think we're all having it drained out of us. We're all having it drained out of us by our attention spans being turned into YouTube length.
Well, yeah, so that's what I found is it's taken me forever to read these things, and it shouldn't. It should be sit down and read it an hour or two. I'm busting through it, a page or two at a time. It's like, man.
Yeah, that's the way I'm reading this book about the making of, De Palma book, making of a De Palma film, The Devil's Candy. I just read it. 3 pages. That's good. I've renewed it at the library now 3 times. So I'm going to run out of days to read it.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm running into with reading those shadow books, and I'm hoping that one of the things I like about this task is it's completely taken the idea of what do I need to read next out of my hands. Because I was constantly, I'd start a book and then I'd be like, I don't want to finish this. And again, I chalk that up to attention span too. But, and again, that was, to go back to my cousin, that was something in the email my cousin said, that, the attention span.
If there was a key to life, it's like, can you focus on something and finish it? Can you finish it if you devote 2 minutes a day to it? Can you just keep after it? That's the deal, It's like
reading is, and I love to read, but it's just like
learn something new every day. I think that was somebody's admonition for success was something like a Warren Buffett or something like that. So I try to learn something every day.
That sounds like a Warren Buffett thing. Anyway, but it was interesting because you and I talked about that, and then my cousin and he talked about, we kind of talked about being a successful artist and
what is success? Yeah, what is success? What is success? At that point, it's like, don't beat yourself up over what is success. I think it's like, at some point you gotta say, okay, smart people figure out a way to make enough money so that they get a few extra better days out of life than maybe most of people do. It's like it is smart to figure out a way to make money. Yeah. And it's like, but art...
Better to have money than not.
Yeah.
Wait,
Art is
what?
one of those things. Art is one of those things you gotta maybe get around to later if you're wanting to make money.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
maybe figure out, okay, what else can I offer that makes a smart guy like me valuable on the in
In
the
the
marketplace.
marketplace. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay,
Anyway.
I can be a security guard.
Yeah. The yeah, it's I don't know. Anyway, it's been good to talk to him, and
Hmm.
I feel like talking to him. I know it's ironic because you and I had talked about him before this, which may have freaked him out when I told him that. But
Well, yeah. I mean, just make it clear to him. We're just talking in broad strokes about just being an artist. It's like we both share that. We both know that it's maybe
not
not
only
all it's
all
cracked
it's
up to be,
yeah,
and plus you're you've got your own self delusions about what it is, and you got to struggle with those. It's like
yeah,
we were just talking about. I learned this. I learned this about this artist, and it's like, my eyes are open now.
yeah. It is. It is interesting when you think about some of the more successful, like at least in comic artists, or just seem to be really unhappy people. You think about like Wally Wood. You think, golly, what a talented guy.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
he always knew there was there. It's like someone saying, so this is the key to success. Looking at PewDiePie, just and saying, look how much money somebody on YouTube can make and generate for themselves, and then you realize, you don't have that ability. You don't have that appeal, and it's like, well, what will it take to amp that up? And for whatever, all you have to do is like do the world's best kitten channel, and
Yeah,
you'll make some money, and it's that easy.
that is so frustrating because I've been trying to build up my YouTube channel, and I do stuff, and the most ridiculous stuff gets a lot of hits.
Sure.
And the stuff I put, I went through my sketchbook. I put sketchbook stuff, and nothing. 35 in 2 weeks. It's like, oh golly. So
Some big jerk is visiting us again. Doggone it! It's been so long. I've forgotten. I know his name. Doggone it! Oh well, he wants to be
that's
known.
not Gene, is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
I'm gonna say
And
his last name.
yeah. It's all right. We know who he is.
No, we know he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're on Facebook with him.
Yes, I
I
definitely
think
am.
I'm on Instagram with him. So there,
So,
we're meted.
yes. So, the other thing I want to talk about, I have recently rediscovered Ron Lemon's YouTube channel.
Oh, I have too.
Oh
I
my
guess
gosh,
that
that thing
guy
about
is
mannequins was awesome.
he is driven to be the world's best instructor. If he can get his hands on your mind, he wants them.
Dude,
He,
I almost sent you the link to the one that he just did about mannequins
yep.
about a
Hmm.
month ago because it
Hmm.
was so good, and it dovetailed exactly what I've been thinking about comics, and it's like
Hmm.
you don't need to draw if you're drawing like this comic I'm drawing.
Hmm.
I don't need to draw like a musculature. I don't need to do all the. If I could just do
No.
a mannequin,
Oh,
then I'm
absolutely.
because
No,
and
your
yeah,
mind filling in that Bridgman couple of blocks related to each other is all really you need. Your knowledge comes in just the moment you see what you've got in mind for space. You know.
yes, and but even beyond that, Ellis, most of the people are wearing clothes,
Yeah.
so
Uh huh.
so it doesn't matter. You just have to draw. If you can draw, but that mannequin, because I've been trying to work that up in my head and in my
Hmm.
sketchbook, kind of, it's like what basically the question I ask myself is, what's the simplest figure I can draw that still looks like a figure
Yeah.
that still get, and and I was like, holy cow, he solved this problem for me.
Oh yeah.
I
I
mean,
tell
I
you
was
what,
getting
Ron
there.
Lemon was. I probably already told you this story, but I was in Jeff Watts's class in San Diego when he was just starting. He was actually in the gas lamp when he was first starting with his.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. He had and his next door neighbor was the guy that did the story about the supernatural detective. What was that called? Barton
Oh,
Lash.
Baton Lash.
Baton Lash. What was that artist's name? I forget his name now.
Oh,
But
yeah,
you know,
that was the character, wasn't it? I know who you're talking about.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, yeah, right down the hall there was that guy. And so this was the early assemblage of everybody that Watts was going to touch with this knowledge of that old Riley method,
No, yeah.
and by way of Fred Pixler that Watts had been exposed to and was ready to teach. And one of his first guys was old Ron Lemon,
Ron Lemon.
and you know, Watts laid out the information to him that, well, one of the best things you could do is take one of these, do a master study of this. I forget which illustrator it was, but it was, you know, somebody on the level of like a Rockwell or something. And Lemon brought that back in, big old sheet of the newsprint we used to always work on live print. You know how big those
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
about
yeah.
24 by a yard. And
Yeah.
and it's like he had this big, beautiful charcoal study that was just dead on, using the exact techniques that just exemplify the Riley method. And it's like, well, number one student,
Yep,
no
found
no
my boy.
no competition, and
Yep.
he wasn't long for it. He was teaching a class or two.
Oh yeah, but if anybody draws and they don't go to his YouTube channel, they're crazy. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, yeah. He ought to be a must stop for what's it called? I think it's called Dirty Paint or something like that. What is that called? It's like he's got some channel that involves paint in the.
well, the channel I've been watching is Lemonade. It's
Oh yeah, yeah,
LEME. Lemon.
yeah, yeah,
You know, his
yeah.
last-
Do that search for Lemonade. Yeah, Lemen.
Yeah.
Lemon, Ron Lemon.
But yeah, man.
You can find him if you look for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's making a YouTube push, but he's so good, and I mean I've got that.
He should be one of those guys that is able to be very successful with YouTube. He should have the Proco kind of reaction.
Yes, because he's way better than a lot of other people. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily Proco. I think Proco's good.
Yeah, Proco's great. I mean, for what he does. Yeah.
Right, but there's some people that it's like, really? Are you? This is, you know, and it's so frustrating because I'll put like, hey, here's my sketchbook, and I'll do a thing going through my sketchbook, and like I said, I'll get 34 views, and then there'll be somebody going, oh, some girl, here's my sketchbook, and it'll be, here's these stickers I got in Hawaii. Here's where I did a page of dog drawings of cute dog, and you know, it's all anime stuff, and I mean, it's fine, but it's just like that gets 10,000 views.
But yeah. This stuff that people that follow me and then I look at their stuff and it's like, wait a second, surely bots are generating this stuff because there's too much of it that looks like you just have turned the exact same non-turned page of so many artists that just need so much work. If this is truly your artwork, if it's not just like generated to have the appeal of looking like an amateur at work, you know,
Yeah.
it's just too weird looking. That's so much of it, you know. Well, I guess you know that might be the appeal of following me. It might be say, hey, this guy can almost draw, you know. You know, and you know maybe they are looking at something like, hey, maybe I can learn something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think that part of it is you gotta have whatever the YouTube algorithm pushes. You know, and let's face it, if you're a good-looking girl, you're gonna get more YouTube hits.
Oh yeah.
You know, I get all these Instagram, you know, suggestions. Follow this artist, and I have kind of a rule of thumb, and this applies to men and women, but it's mostly women. If I go to their Instagram page and there's any pictures of them
Showing cleavage.
painting, then they're showing. oh look, I'm painting in a bikini.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm not. No.
Mm-hmm.
You could be the best painter in the world, but if you're, that's what you're. I don't want to feed that algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or that.
There's enough people out there that'll feed that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to. But anyway, the mannequin thing is. I was going to mention that to you because
Well,
I think.
I'll look it up. That may have been what I was looking at the other day. I don't know. Like you say, he does. He's probably about to make some sort of attempt
Push.
to like get
I don't
get
know
the audience
why,
built up again.
I don't know why more artists don't. I mean, I'm talking about like popular artists don't do
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean, why did Mike Mignola have a YouTube? Mike Mignola people would watch him draw a 15-minute sketch.
Jim Lee could do it. Yeah, well, that's the deal. It's got to just finally occur to them that there's money on the table that they could have
Yeah,
if they want it.
well, and I mean, not that Jim Lee or Mike Mignola care about money, but
Yeah.
I mean, good grief, Mignola.
Well, and another part of it is the people that have got the sense that they've been to enough cons and everything, and they are famous enough to realize, yeah, I've seen the general public. I don't want much to do with them. and that depending
That
on
could be
how
that,
rich,
yeah.
how famous you are, becomes more and more pronounced. Right now,
Mhm.
we'd be tickled to sign an autograph by our number one fan, but if we were actually famous, we might be like, oh my God, here comes this mob.
Well, and that's the thing is like I like that. I mean, and the few signings I've done, and like the free comic book day. I mean, I appreciate the people that come out, but it just is like, oh gosh, because I do those
Hmm.
free sketches, and I'll do them. But here's my rule of thumb: I do them until I get pissed off at somebody. Some kind of weird demand, or and it's just like, okay, I'm checking in.
Draw a
You
picture of my
know,
baby.
yeah, draw my baby riding a wolf fighting Modoc. It's like, well,
Yeah,
no,
there
no,
we go.
no. How about you get the hell out of here?
Yeah.
It's like, no. So, I mean, I don't
Modoc.
aspire to. I mean, at one point, I would be like, oh, this would be great. But now, I just want to be left. I quote the line, and I'm going to butcher it, from The Invisible Man, where
Okay.
they came up to him, and he says, "You fools, you don't know what you've done. I just wanted to be left alone to work on my experiments. Instead, you came
Left
in
alone.
and snooping.
Yeah.
Now, you were crazy to find out what I am. Now you'll know." And he unwinds all the bandages, he's
Yeah.
cackling like a madman. And that's
Yeah. You.
I go, my God, that's me.
Uh,
I,
uh,
I wanted to be left alone.
hmm
You know,
Well.
all
Yep.
I want is, enough money to pay my bills, go on a couple vacations, buy some extravagant stuff occasionally, and be
Hmm.
left alone. I don't want to. I'm going tomorrow, and I'm kind of dreading it. Maybe I'm getting a little social anxiety. I'm going to. My brother knows somebody that's involved in the Rose State Comic Book Club, and they invited me to come out and talk to him tomorrow.
Cool.
And it's just like, yeah, well, no. Well, I mean, it's cool, but I'm just like, oh God, why did I do
What
this?
kind of comic book club?
The Rose State, so at the college.
Oh, okay. Okay. So college guys have organized a little
They
group.
got a little
Okay.
club that meet on Fridays at 3:30, and
Cool.
yeah. Except I'm like, oh God, I don't want to go. And it's not that I don't want to go. The guy was really nice, and if he hears this, I'll feel terrible.
Well, it's
But
like everybody that wants to
it's
introduce you to somebody because they are an artist. It's like, no, that guy,
well,
you're,
it's
you're
just the
likely not to have.
inconvenience. I
Yeah.
want to go home and sit around and draw my pages, read my shadow books,
Hmm.
doodle in my sketchbook, draw some mannequins fighting.
Hmm. Well, that's all John Buscema was trying to teach everybody in how to draw the marble way when he was drawing all those little guys that were basically mannequins that were all those great little poses. Learn
Yep.
to be able to pose with a lot of rhythm and
drawing loose figures.
hmm
Yeah. Anyway,
Hey, if you're
that's
that on fire about mannequins right now, you ought to get you some of these posable Japanese toys that are so great.
I got this.
Let's see it. Bow, I got one of those too. Yes, that's excellent.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
an excellent pair. Get the female too.
you know what I use more than anything, and I've used for years?
What?
This stupid little Daredevil toy.
Yeah, well, they're very nice. Yeah, very nice
I
articulation
mean,
on that.
it'll hold weird poses, and I
Oh yeah,
I used
that's
to
that
use
looks.
it a lot for like
I think you got a lucky buy there. I don't think they make them that good mostly.
No, I got a lucky buy, and I was
Fucking
it was
girl.
at Toys R Us, and I saw it, and I go, God, it looks like that'd be good to draw from.
hmm
And I mean, he's relatively proportional, you know. His neck's a little long.
Someone was saying something about a fist fight at a New York City con. Did you
Oh
see that?
yeah, yeah.
And it was about
over
I guess these guys trying to get in on flippable merchandise. That's you buy it and it's almost instantly worth a lot more. I don't get it. Why would anybody in made to order retail kind of situation like that pass on something that is instantly worth 5 times what you're selling it for? I don't. It's kind of hard to visualize.
I don't know what you're saying. You mean why?
Well, but the book you're selling it, and these people want to buy it real quick because they're just instantly going to offer it on eBay for 5 times what they paid for it. It's like, wait a moment. I guess you can't. I guess if you're offering a retail starting thing, you have to stick with that. You can't just say, "Well, I'm going to just have these come off the printer and then offer them myself on eBay." I guess
I don't
you can't.
know. I don't
I
know
can't do
enough
that.
about the situation because I don't know. I know it was a Spawn book.
Yes,
But I
with
don't
alternate covers, I believe.
Yes, and I don't.
I don't know enough
if
about
it
it
was
either.
if it was. I know the cover was a peach Momoa cover.
Yes, yeah.
She's really gotten popular. I don't really see the appeal, but whatever.
Yeah. hmm
But but I mean, their appeal is like they can flip it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm kind of with you, Ellis. If it's popular, why doesn't the retailer sell it for more?
Yeah. Why isn't he able to be the guy that exploits that?
Or
I
not
don't
the
get it.
retailer, but so I'm assuming it's Todd McFarlane that was. I don't know. Well, here's one thing that I do know. Some of the publishers will allow. I'm gonna say retailers, but I don't know if it's always retailers. Stores to do alternate covers.
hmm
So it may have been a store's alternate cover that they did, and they got Peach Momoa or whatever her name is. I guess it's Momoa to
Mhm.
do it. And so maybe they did it. And people were like, "Oh my gosh, I want that." And so maybe it was the store. The store was just happy to sell out of them because I think they were selling them for like $30 or something. But yeah,
and then they were going for hundreds. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Supposedly.
like, well, a lot of that stuff at the show, because not everyone could go to the show.
Well, I can
So-
see a fist fight erupting if someone said, "No, that one's mine." That's obviously fist fight material
Oh,
to
God.
say,
I
"Get out of my
think
way.
cons-
That's mine."
I think cons are a fist fight waiting to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
how many times have you been to a con, been aggravated because somebody's like crowded you or stepped on your foot?
Oh
or
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's just it's too much humanity.
Yeah. It is too much humanity.
That's the theme for today. Is like too many people.
Yep.
You thin them out. Oops.
I've got it titled "Burning Down the House," and now I can't remember. Oh, I remember why I titled it
hot?
that. But yeah, it is hot because it's hot.
Should I point out that I offered to buy you an air conditioner?
No.
months
It's
ago?
only got up to 90 today, and it'll cool right down. So I'm fine.
Tomorrow's supposed to be cool.
Yeah, we're getting the cool front. Finally, put an
So
end to all of it.
tomorrow, I'm going downtown, but since this, Rose State is in Midwest City,
Uh-huh.
So I'm just gonna hang out downtown all until about 3 o'clock, and then go over there. So I'm like that. So then immediately I'm like, I don't want to stay downtown all day.
Yeah. What's the campus like? Have you been there before?
Nope, never been there.
Hmm.
It's fairly small.
Well, I
I
imagine
think.
it's almost like a community college then, right?
Yeah. It's a community college.
Which is
The guy seemed
interesting.
pretty cool, and I'm gonna take pages to show him.
Sure.
You know, he said, "Oh yeah, we were gonna put it on our social media, and I got your book Heaven's Rejects, but we were uncomfortable because of the profanity." And I said, "Hey, I was uncomfortable with the profanity too, man."
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, I mean, I tried to
We
get
can
the
talk
writer.
about collaboration. Yep.
Yeah, that's what we'll talk about. Talk about retail publishers screwing you over. That's
Yeah.
Well, we started, you and I, talking about we don't want to be negative about art. And I was thinking, I don't want to go in there. I was reminded of when I was in college. At Platt College, there was a guy who was a recent graduate, and he just came and just told the class how terrible it was to be an artist and all this kind of stuff. And he had hired somebody to draw. He got a job doing signs for one of the mall or something like that, and he hired somebody, and they did substandard work, and he was complaining about that, and like the teachers were just like, golly, we thought he'd be more inspirational, but no, he was just wanting to
That's what you
complain
get
about
for bringing
life.
Bukowski into the
Yeah, that's what it was like,
wanting a
man.
Bukowski lecture. Yeah,
Well,
that's what you get.
so I am not going to be negative, but I mean, I'll tell them, if you'll know more, go to my YouTube channel, watch the video, 3 reasons why I'll never work for Marvel Comics. I'll tell you everything you want to
There
know.
you go.
Every question will be answered.
Well, I mean,
No, I mean, if I was their age, I'd be, pumping out samples too.
yeah, sure. Well, you might have some unique views of AI. What you
I
actually
don't know how much
get
I
up
want
to
talk about
nowadays.
because they may not want to hear about that. I typically get the cold shoulder when I talk to artists about my AI videos.
That's
And I
interesting.
get, hey man,
Because I think it's going to be just become a tool like the internet in terms of like what your reference is. It's it's going to be your reference tool. It's like, very good Mid Journey, but it could be so much better. And then you
yeah,
add this little. And Picasso used to do that. He'd have all these guys whipping out little vases, and all that in clay, and then he'd come along to him almost like on a conveyor belt. They'd give it to him, and he'd put his thumb in it or whatever, and by golly, that was a Picasso from that point forward. And it's like that was kind of silly, but someone has got that sitting in a reserved spot in their house or in a museum. It's
yeah,
got Picasso's thumbprint in it, but he was, after he died, he had basically a big warehouse just full of junk.
oh yeah,
It's like, but it was all Picasso's.
yep. That's it's like on that show where they do the pawn shop.
Hmm.
They brought in a Picasso etching, and they're like, yeah, he was pumping these out by the
Yeah,
thousands.
these weren't causing him a lot of effort. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas a Dali, it's like 10 yards long and
yeah.
just meticulously rendered, and it's like, well, I
Well,
would say Dali did a little more work on his.
there's a reason why Van Goghs are so sought after.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did a lot of them, but he wasn't pumping them out like a Picasso.
No, no, they meant something to him, and those all he always makes a good subject for films. Have you ever seen? It's been, good Lord, I haven't seen it since I was a child on TV, but Lust for Life.
Oh yeah, great. I was telling somebody was talking about Van Gogh the other day, and I was telling them the story about
Kirk
how
Douglas.
he was a minister, and they go, well, you can't minister to us because we're minors, and you don't understand what our life is like, and so you're like, take me down there, and
Yeah, it's like
they're like, what? And he takes the ride down in the mine, and
Mhm.
you know,
Speaking of minds, I've got no idea what went on with my brain where I thought uh, the film My Darling Clementine was about the best thing I'd ever seen in the world. So I said, "Give me more John Ford. What's another great one that the library's got?"
Stagecoach.
Yeah, well, Stagecoach would be great. I need to review that. But I said, I've never watched it all the way through. I've seen a little part of it here and there. How Green Was My Valley? I'll
Oh
watch that.
gosh, that doesn't even sound appealing.
Well, that's the deal. All of a sudden, I decided this is John Ford being all Irish and everything again, and he's got this great vision of how Ireland used to be before it was spoiled by this and that. And I just didn't want to watch it. But even though I knew I'd be in the hands of like a maestro of storytelling, and I knew it'd be beautiful every frame of it, I just didn't want to see it all of a sudden.
Yeah, sometimes I do that. I'll check out something and I'm like, I don't want to watch. I've got the right stuff sitting there, and I haven't been able to get myself to watch it.
Yeah.
That
It's Tom Wolfe stuff. I'm kind of inundated with Tom Wolfe anymore. Well, the Bonfire of the Vanities. You got that film recently, didn't you?
Yep,
Didn't
I
you?
saw it for like $2 somewhere. I
Huh.
thought, I'll pick it up. And then you told me, oh, the film's terrible.
Well, the film's terrible, but I'm definitely going to watch it again after I get done with the book about the making of the film and finally
Yeah.
listening to all the audiobook. I'm only 6 discs. I'm 5 hours away, basically, of listening to all the audiobook. And it's a good audiobook. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't listen to enough audiobooks. Again, not enough time, man.
Yeah. Time in the day.
Yeah. I keep thinking, I don't know, one day I'll retire, but I don't know.
I tell you what movie that came back to Prime here recently that if you haven't seen it, you got to see it. Have you ever seen Hombre with Paul Newman?
No, but you were
Oh
talking
my
about it.
goodness. Yeah, please watch that. That's the best, one of the best, probably the Elmore Leonard interpretation that kind of showed everybody else just what they ought to be doing with Elmore Leonard. You know,
Oh
they'd
yeah.
had a couple of things that were kind of like misfires, but when they put Ombre out, it's like, who wrote this? It was Sean Connery's favorite movie. That tells you how good it is.
Oh yeah.
I guess if you want to
There's something
use,
there.
yeah,
It's something. I mean, that's
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's not
You know,
that's not nothing.
no, it's not nothing for a guy that I'm sure looked at things with a very practiced eye of what he might have been good in and what somebody else was good in.
Yeah, I think that's probably reasonable to think that he would look like that.
It the story structure is just so well done. It's like it devotes like almost the first third to like showing off the characters and having this fantastic dialogue that tells you everything about them in such an intelligent way. And then the second third is, it's is just like the inciting thing that goes wrong with their trip. And then the third, of course, is one of the best showdowns ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Maverick, not Maverick, Paladin, good old Richard Boone is in the film as Cicero Grimes. Isn't that a great
Okay.
name?
That's a
Cicero
good. That's a good.
Grimes.
That's a good name. Good name.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, Elmore Leonard wrote Rum Punch, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so much.
Because
Justified owes quite a bit of how to handle Elmore Leonard's story from Ombre, I would say.
I really liked the movie Jackie Brown,
Oh
and
yeah.
I liked but that's not Western. That's contemporary.
Hmm.
Ombre's a Western, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know, it's it's pretty unique.
I'll look for it. That sounds good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's on Prime.
On Prime.
Couldn't be easier to check out.
I've got Prime. I've got Prime. Lately, I've been watching Lemonade.
Yeah, yeah. Those sound. Yeah, you've got me started on like thinking, hey, I need to make sure I check out
I
that
can
whole
only
inventory.
squeeze in about 30, 45 minutes of TV a night, so,
Hmm.
unless I just
Yeah,
want to
I'm
roll
the
down
same
sleep.
way. I think I'll want to start a movie, and I say, yeah, I'll just watch a couple of things on YouTube. And again, that attention span thing.
God, it's brutal. I guess. I mean, it keeps you doing things, doing
Hmm.
different things.
It's it's so weird. Recognition via context. If you don't have somebody in the exact context you're used to seeing them in, it's like that will bug the life out of you. Saying, "What do I know this guy from?
Who's this person? Oh
Who
God,
is this
I
person?"
do that all
Then
the time.
when it comes to you, it's like, "Of course, that's who it is."
Yeah, and I'd see people and go, God, they'll go, "Hey, Scott, how's it been?" I'm going, "Excuse
Who
me,
are
I
you?
don't. Who are you?" They're like, "We went to school together,"
Yeah.
and they'll tell me their name, and I'm like, "I don't remember you." I
Mhm.
think I was. I don't know. In school, I thought, man, I wish I was popular, and now I realized I didn't really want to be popular, and I didn't really like anybody. I mean, I had a few
Well, no,
friends.
no, good Lord, high school is the very definition of not liking everybody.
Oh my gosh. Well, and so
You're
we
forced to
have
be there.
a friend. I want to be vague, who has parties occasionally and invites us over, and we always have
Hmm.
fun. But it reminds me why when I was in high school, I'd always hear about parties, but I never got invited, and it never really bothered me, because it's like,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
again,
parties is I mean, it's kind of like a weird social lab. You might not
yeah,
want to get too close
yeah.
to.
Well, and I got invited to a Halloween party.
Just think of how many times someone has a hard time at them, leaves and shoots the place up.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe. I hate this place. I can't believe it's open if it's causing so much trouble. I had no idea it was such a hot spot of trouble. But about a half mile from I'm. It's like on Agnew and 59th, just in a
Yeah.
straight line from me, a half mile or so. And they're always playing this persistent music that I always associated with being some sort of organizational thing, like a tent meeting or something like that. It's not. It's just them being obnoxious, and it's just like and it's a rental. It's a rental thing. You can throw open your doors and have a rave, basically.
Oh.
And they had 12 people shot there about a week ago. One died, and the suspect is just some punk.
Yep.
And it's like the main suspects. I mean, it was just one of those things. It's like you got your clique and I got mine, and my clique is going to shoot your clique.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, dude. The 7-Eleven on the corner down from me.
Yes, yes.
The
I,
girl.
I, the girl was stabbed. Was that right next to you
Yeah.
like that?
Yes.
Golly,
Yeah.
that guy they hauled in. It's like just put a bullet in his head. Be done with him.
Yeah.
If you can just jump across the counter and stab a little girl, uh,
18-year-old
screw you.
girl.
You've had your chance in life.
Well, yeah.
Fooey on you.
Well, I'll tell you, I was on a murder trial jury in 2019, right before the pandemic, December 2019, and a guy killed another dude, and it was the same kind of deal. It wasn't a robbery. Somebody knew. They were friends, and he just stabbed him in cold blood. You know, and it's like, we gave the guy, they weren't going for the death penalty, but we gave him life without parole, because it's like, this guy has no remorse, he just did it. Basically, want to see what it'd be like to kill somebody.
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
anybody that pulls
person
off
doesn't deserve to live with human beings.
Anybody that pulls off stabbing as the way they murder somebody has got
stabbed the
some
guy.
sort of really, because for somebody like me, I'd put one poke into somebody when they screamed in agony. I'd say, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah,
Your
Oh, this
empathy,
guy's-
your humanity would surface the moment you started stabbing somebody.
Well, and they're they're gasping for air and dying.
Yeah.
And they're just I mean, that's I mean, this guy, he stabbed him. I think the first time was like in the throat. Then he stabbed him in the chest a couple times and penetrated his lung and multiple times, and the guy just basically drowned in his own blood. And they were friends. It's like, what? You don't deserve to be with. And there was no doubt he did it. He went to the police department, confessed it. They had video of him confessing. He tried to hide it. It's just a.
Well, that the brothers Menendez are getting a new plea deal. And, with all the people they let loose, why not let somebody loose after they've served 30 years? But taking a double lot buck to the parents will always kind of bug me, that they even survived making that statement. And plus, I mean, the details later, well, of course, I don't know if you can trust the press. I'm reading something that makes me ought to, the bonfire of the vanities ought to make me instantly
suspicious.
doubt the press. But they talked about one of the motivations was how much money one of the Menendez wanted to spend on becoming better at tennis. He had himself visualized as
oh God,
he'd be
I
great
never heard
at tennis. Yeah, he'd be great at tennis, and he was taking high priced tennis lessons when they decided, let's bring you in for further questioning. Because I believe they tried to palm it off on some sort of break-in attack for a short time. Didn't last long. They broke that down pretty quick.
Yeah, when the cops have their man or woman, they're usually pretty good about.
I visualize that happening all the time. They talk about the way a cop does things. They still ask a simple question, and if you gush all over him with your explanation of it, it's probably pretty clear that you're hiding something. It's like, if you're answering like, so what? That sort of response is how people talk to people when they're got no guilt, but you're wanting to give too much information and all that kind of stuff when you're guilty.
Yep, I am mindful.
And cops just sit there and look at you, and then it's like, oh, he knows something. Your paranoia kicks in.
Yeah, when I was on that jury duty, there was a cop, and I wish I could remember his name. He was a homicide investigator. He was kind of a let's see, what did he look like?
Kind of alpha, huh?
No, not at all. Not
really.
out of shape necessarily, but had a big mustache. Kind of looked like not the way he's built, but just kind of longish hair, thick mustache, and it was just a real matter of fact kind of guy, and you think, he just seemed like the kind of guy that would go in, do his homework, take fingerprints, all that jazz, and then when he got somebody, he just kind of talked to him, and then the guy would confess,
Yeah, it's like...
He just seemed like the guy that somebody would talk to.
Yeah, let's not waste our time here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we both know.
Yeah. Do you want some water? You know who gets waters? People that tell the truth. People that talk.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't get water? Lying scumbags.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed. I thought Sherman, who is the subject of the Bonfire of the Vanities,
Yeah.
the Master of the Universe, I thought there was more trial time to the thing. But right now, he's just been arraigned, and the book is, it's 30 discs, and I'm on disc 23, so that shows you it's not a courtroom drama anyway. It's all about the internal lives of all these kind of like.
Is he? Who's the actor that plays Sherman?
Tom Hanks. That's a big deal about the book Bonfire of the Vanities, about how Hollywood pushes you. You may have the perfect casting idea in mind, but if someone else thinks, oh no, because one of the roles went to Bruce Willis as the as the reporter that's alcoholic and all that.
Yeah.
And that was just a pure Hollywood decision because Bruce Willis was just totally wrong for it, and he just had this his newfound star power. Die Hard hadn't been that long. Since they cast him for that, but that Die Hard, instant superstardom.
Yeah.
And of course, moonlighting. I mean, he was. Everybody had Die Hard in their mind, but they also knew, the guy was huge via moonlighting as well.
Oh yeah.
He'd found the handle on turning that moonlighting character, into something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Bruce Willis was huge during Moonlighting.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went into acting, and he did the movie about. Oh, is it She's Out of Control or something?
Yeah,
like
something like that. Yeah, that's
The
actually a pretty
girl
good movie. That's Blake Edwards, I think.
Oh,
I think
is it?
Yeah, it's a good old Blake Edwards movie, which he handles that screwball stuff pretty good.
Yeah, that the girl that can't handle her alcohol, that's like allergic to alcohol, and he convinces her to. I can't drink. It makes me crazy. He's
The
like,
one
"Here,
that was
have
married
another."
to Alec Baldwin, Kim Basinger.
Oh, yeah.
Kim Basinger. Basinger. I don't know.
I don't know.
She was great in L.A. Confidential. That's a good movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she kind of had that femme fatale kind of thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think she was supposed to have been looking like Veronica Lake a little bit. In L.A. Confidential.
I could see that.
That's a movie I keep thinking I'm going to rewatch again. I think I can watch it on Prime anytime I feel like it. But
Oh yeah.
Ari, have you watched any requisite horror movies? You were into Universal in a big way. How many total did you watch of old Universal movies?
Oh gosh, let's see. I watched. What did I watch? I watched The Mummy. I watched The Invisible. Now some of these I watched when I was out of it with a fever, so they don't. I don't know if that counts, but
so the COVID fever. Go ahead.
I need to rewatch The Mummy. Because I slept through parts of it. Invisible Man I really liked. Watched Dracula. I watched Black Cat. I watched the House. I watched the House of Wax. I don't know if Dan's on here, but House of Wax was Svengoolie last week. But I watched it on PCM. It was okay. I don't think it was up to snuff on some of the other ones.
Yeah, I always like that little trivia note that the director. It's one of the very first big 3D movies, and the director had one eye. He's
Nice.
I forget his name. It's oh heck, I'm gonna look it up. House of Wax.
They talked
Very
about it.
famous name director. He did a lot of action stuff.
Oh yeah, and there was a lot of ridiculous 3D stuff in there. That I mean, I
Yeah,
didn't
oh yeah.
watch it 3D,
The
but
ping pong player.
yeah, the guy that had the ball on the the rubber ball on
Yeah.
the string that he's hitting with a paddle. It's like,
What's
okay,
their
that's
deal here? This isn't telling me a story. 1953, the height of 3D. Well, you know, it was only that one hot year, really. Andre de Toth. Yeah, Andre de Toth.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know about the 3D thing.
Well, you know,
I
I
guess,
mean, gimmicks used to be. Well, of course, that was that also that period where they were saying, "Oh
yeah.
man, look at this TV. We don't like TV." You know,
Well,
everybody in
yeah, you're
Hollywood saying,
right.
and they're all saying, "Oh, I wouldn't descend to being on TV." You know, there was a lot of smugness about what kind of actor you were and what level you were at. You weren't TV bound. You were better than that.
Yeah, I think that there's yeah.
There was some of that for a short time. Then they said, "Wait a second, how much money are you making?" It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah, the
I'll
money.
I'll be on TV."
Yeah, hey, do you blame them?
No, no, no. You tell them the money's good enough. And think about James Dean. About the only other thing he's
Yep,
got is a few little kinescopes when he's on TV.
yep, yep. He did TV. He did well. He did some Broadway theater, but not a lot. I mean, like
Hmm.
a couple things, but it was enough to propel him.
People notice you. It's like just being the guy they pick for doing the dumb TV drama means that you got beyond the casting call. You know, everybody said, "Hey,
Well,
this guy's our guy. He's pretty good."
you know, Michelle and I, when we were in New York, we went to a Broadway play or Broadway
Hmm.
musical for the first time. It was Back to the Future. I don't know what that counts as, but you know, it really was like I was like, you know, this isn't that bad, you know.
Mm. Oh no, it's fun to watch live entertainment. It's been well tooled, and everybody's having a pretty good time out there on stage, doing what they want to do. Yeah.
Yep, it was well put together, and you know, and you kind of go, okay, I can see why, you know.
Makes for a good evening to get out and watch a play.
Yes. Yeah, Michelle and I's first date was a play.
Hmm.
We
You
watched.
remember? Remember?
Yeah, the we saw Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, cool.
The SNU. We were going to SNU, and the SNU whatever drama or whatever did Fiddler on the Roof.
Hmm.
I don't think this face looks right. I made
Well, that's where your little model and your mannequin. We'll correct that for you.
I got this.
There you go. Oh yeah, yeah,
You
that'll
know, I
help a
got
lot.
this.
That'll help a lot. Put all those lines on it and then erase them.
Yeah.
That's how you
Just
get
for
there.
a young Ellis Goodson, younger by about. How long have you lived in Oklahoma?
Almost 10 years, probably.
Oh my gosh. I should say back in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I think I just got that jawline. I think if I fix that jawline, I'll be good.
Hey, that's a tough angle. That requires, you know, sitting down and doing
Thinking.
some figuring. Yeah.
Thinking. We were talking about comic artists that kind of were wanted to be left alone or whatever, and of course I while we were talking about that, I was thinking about Ditko. You know, just
Yeah.
a guy that just, you know.
Well, yeah, and it's like, well, you know, if you know yourself and you know that, hey, I've bounced off the idea of being the life of the party. I know I don't belong there, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's just some people's, you know, are, you know, they roll their eyes at the idea that it's great. Do public speaking for one thing. That's a lot of everybody. It's like you want me to talk to a bunch of
Yeah.
people I don't know. Why
Yeah.
would I do that?
Yeah. Yeah. We used to have to do that at work for years of service. When somebody had been there for so many years, it'd be like, oh, you got to get up, write a speech, and deliver a speech about them.
Mm-hmm.
And they did away with it. I think a lot of the managers were like, I don't like doing this.
Well, yeah, that's another crowd. Anything that amounts to a rough crowd is something that you'd. It's funny, Michael Malice. You have almost no knowledge of Michael Malice, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the
Outside
situation
of
with you.
talking about him.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of one of the guys that follows him and thinks he's kind of a cool addition to the political landscape out there. But he has bounced off the idea of being a comedian, a stand-up in the past. He doesn't like getting up and doing his comedy and having something that got a laugh the night before, all of a sudden just get crickets the next night, which does sound maddening.
Sure.
But I think the guys that have been doing it for a long time, like a Gilbert Gottfried, loved to bomb. Allegedly, he loved to have a crowd that kind of like started hating him or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess the personality you need to have. It's like someone that just likes being there.
I tell a joke every week, and I tell it in my Sunday school class.
That's all you
and
need
then
is
I tell
jokes.
it on Monday. Oh, dude,
Mhm.
I can tell you jokes on. So Did I tell you the story about Michelle when I was sick?
Uh-uh.
Okay, I'll tell you this.
How is your sick? How is your sick right now? Where are you at?
I got a
heard
little
you
bit
coughing.
of a cough. I got a
Little
little bit of
cough.
a cough, but I'm
Okay.
good. I'm good. I forgot
Okay.
to use my inhaler. I didn't use it when we get done. But so, dang it. So my wife. So I had COVID, right?
Right.
And I felt bad Wednesday. Stayed home Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Sunday, Michelle goes to church, and she comes home, and she goes, "Look, we ate," and she says, "Look, you've sat around the house for 4 days. You've been watching monster movies and reading comic books. I'm gonna go for a walk. Do you want to walk with me?" Now, she was very offended when I told this Sunday school. She said, "I did not make you go with me. I asked." I said, "Okay, so let me be clear. She did not make me. So she asked me, 'Would you like to go?' So we go, and I said, 'Well, I'll go. I don't know how long I'm gonna walk.' So I go, and we walk 3 miles when we walk. Okay,
Mm-hmm. That's quite a bit.
that's what we do. So we get about 3/4 of the way, and I tell her,
You're
I
gonna
go,
have to carry
know,
me.
I go, just stop for a second. It was real hot too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I said, I'm getting a little lightheaded. And she said, "Do I need to go get the car?" And I go, No, don't get the car. Just let me rest for a second. Let me stand here in the shade. Stood there, and then I said, "Okay, I'm good. Let's go." So we went home, and then on the way home, she goes, "Well, there's a weed in the back flower bed that's gotten kind of tall. We need to cut that." And I said, "Okay, let me get the loppers and we'll cut it." She goes, "Well, do you want me to get the chainsaw?" And I said, "No. If it requires the chainsaw, we're gonna do it next weekend." So we go in, and then my boss texts me about he was gonna be late. So I said, "Well, I'm gonna be in tomorrow. I'll handle the Monday meeting." So then Michelle goes later. She goes, "Well, are you going to work tomorrow?" And I go, "Well, yeah. I texted Steve and told him I'm going." She goes, "Oh, I think you need to stay home and rest one more day."
Well, that's funny. So she just switched gears to like, well, she just experienced you gassing out on a walk.
I guess so. Maybe so. But anyway, I told
I tell you what, that heat is insidious. You don't realize how much that is demanding of you to adapt to this heat and do something like a walk.
Yeah. So I'll tell you the joke I told this week.
Okay.
Since I'm telling jokes. I mean, I could probably tell you jokes all night. In fact, I've been putting jokes on you.
That's quite a talent. That's quite a talent.
So, so there's big orphanage fire in town, and they called out several fire departments. All these departments are racing to get there. There's one particular department that just flew ahead of everybody, just tearing through the streets, beat everybody there by a mile, and guys jumped out. They put out the fire real quick, saved all the orphans. The mayor was impressed, and the mayor, being a politician, said, well, we need to celebrate this. So he invites them to this banquet. They have a banquet, and he presents them with the key of the city, and the fire captain's up there, and he goes, you amazed everybody. Your crew jumped out, they raced to the fire, they beat everybody there. It's so amazing, and I'm happy to present you with the key of the city. Is there anything the city can do for your department? And he said, if they could get the brakes on our fire truck fixed, it'd be great.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's great. Nice setup and delivered that. Yeah. That's all it is. It's like tell how it is, and then throw the old twist out there. Guy ought to be able to write jokes. I mean, you know what? I just got done reading, because I've got a Bat-tober coming up, which I'd like to have look a little bit like a Gary Larson Far Side cartoon.
Oh,
but
nice.
but I got out my copy of the one with the T-Rex skeleton, which I own, history or something like that of Far Side.
Prehistory of Far Side.
Prehistory of Far Side, where he explains a lot of the all the happenings to him as a cartoonist, and he's got these little flash fiction short stories that are the funniest thing in the world. And I thought, what a great way to, before you write a joke, write a little story first that's got all the exact same goofiness, and all of a sudden you got something you can whittle down to a joke.
So there was a woman that was getting on a plane, and she was nervous. She'd never flown before, so when she's getting on, she's speaking to the captain. The captain's shaking everybody's hand, and she tells him, she goes, I'm very nervous. She said, I've never flown before. She says, you have to promise me you'll get me down safely. And he says, ma'am, I've never left anyone up there yet.
I don't know why the algorithm has been treating me to a lot of people that have got up and they're filming themselves in their plane, their engine fails. Apparently, there's quite a bit of YouTube content that involves bringing your plane down under stress.
No, wait. Their engine fails. What do you mean? Like their car engine?
Well, like I just watched one where a girl had been fidgeting around with, obviously she's in a cheap plane. A person almost have to be an idiot to fly, but she's working on her canopy and gets it kind of like shut, but she notices it's crawling back unlocked on her. She has to keep shoving it, or at least once she shoves it back shut, and then all of a sudden it just blows off, cracks, destroys itself, disintegrates over on the side of the wing, and it's still dangling there, but no way she's going to reach out and even hope to get it back around her head. So she's just sitting there with her old cheeks, going this way and that with the air.
Like a dog going down the
road. And it's like, well, she brought it in, but I don't know what I need to look that up because I watched it on the Roku. I need to look it up on YouTube on the computer and see what the hell, if there's any extra details about that. What was she flying and all that?
Yeah, no doubt. Did she live?
Yeah. Oh, she definitely lived. She brought it in. But boy, I tell you, you could tell her eyes were just really bugging her. She'd had all that, all that wind in her eyes.
Oh, yeah, that'd be horrible.
Hey, we're at 1 hour 9 minutes. That place doesn't look too bad, Scott.
I fixed it.
You fixed it. Okay.
Yeah, I think I fixed it. I lengthened the jaw and widened the mouth.
Right.
And gave it a little more roundness.
Yeah, volume. Oh, yeah, you're inspired by lemon.
Yes.
Okay, we did one service tonight. We mentioned Ron Lemon. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we done?
We're done.
Dan never showed up. We were maybe even going to have him on the show, but he didn't show up.
That's okay.
Okay, ending the stream. Thanks, folks. Thanks,
Thank you.
Gene,
Yeah,
for
thanks.
showing up.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Bye-bye.
no doubt.